What time is it?
Okay, we have some fabulous live music later on, but right now, here's the kind I prefer.
What's up? This is your boy Styles here. We're on the West Coast Styles YouTube channel, the OGWCR. And we got a special guest in the house today. We got a longtime friend of mine, a longtime collaborator, a brother, a partner. Man, we got Big Y in the house tonight. Big Y, man, thank you for joining us, bro.
What the deal is?
Hey.
It's a special interview because you've got his daughter Kerrington in the house, who's a part of our staff. And, you know, I was thinking earlier today, I was like, man, I can't recall a time in hip hop where a daughter interviewed her father, you know, as an artist, you know. I can't recall any father or daughter in hip hop interviews, you know, so this may be a first, you know.
Yeah,
so wow.
This the first time I think any hip hop artist has been interviewed and been a part of an interview with their daughter.
Yeah.
I can't recall of any single time in hip hop. So this is special.
So try to remain professional.
Let's just get right into
this. Please, at all costs.
Her name is Tookie Moose.
Yeah.
Right. So we're not going to do
that. So let's just, you know, get right into this. You know, I wanted to do this interview because I really want people to know your history in this game, and I want them to know the contributions that you've had in front of the mic and behind the scenes. You know what I mean. So let's just rewind a little bit. Going back to the days when you did Banging on Wax. What got you to be an MC? Like you know, when did you start like rhyming, and how did you even get involved in that project?
Well, how I started rhyming was, you know, when I was young, man, like when hip hop was still real young, I used to watch a show back in the day before cable. We had what you called on TV, right? And you turn it on, and it had different shows, right? And there was one show on there called Breaking and Entering, and Ice-T, I think, was the host. Him and the Glove, you know, and they used to show different elements of hip hop and rap, you know what I mean? And that really was the introduction to me, you know. And then me being young, I was like 7 or 8 years old, and DJ Pooh was like staying like 3 or 4 houses down from me. And I used to go down to DJ Pooh house, and he had records. You know, I was cool with his brother. Pooh was older than me, but he had records. This when it was Uncle Jam's Army, and I used to see him DJing and stuff, and you know, and then in junior high, I want to say, you know, I really got into it more, you know, but I wasn't really rapping. I was just beatboxing, you know what I mean? And then a longtime friend of mine, like my best friend, he started teaching me how to put bars and stuff together. His name was Marcel Williams, but the hip hop party heard his name. Tupac talked about him a lot. They called him Mental. And, you know, he's like one of the driving forces and leaders behind Tupac's whole thug life persona and image. You know what I mean? And Marcel was like one of the dopest. He's really one of the best, dopest, one of the dopest MCs to ever come out of California back in the 80s. He also gave Corrupt his name when he moved out here from Philadelphia. You know, and just being around them, and we was in a crew, you know, called the B-Boys crew, and I used to just battle. We used to battle constantly. It was just battles all the time. But I was beatboxing. But, you know, after hours and on the phone, and when me and Marcel would be together, he would teach me how to put bars together and how to rhyme words and stuff like that. And I just started being a student of it, man, listening to LL Cool J and, you know, just trying to figure out my style. And then, you know, once I started hearing like Spade, and then I think King. Listening to King T is what really kind of took me over because Tila had a hip hop style, but it was still LA. You know what I mean? And
Mm.
once I did that, that's what got me lean me more into wanting to be an MC, and then just really owning my skills and getting better, you know what I mean? And, it led towards, later on in life when opportunity presented itself, Red Rum had created the whole situation with banging on wax with everybody else that he came up, he created it with. And he started enlisting dudes that he wanted to be on the B side with him, you know what I mean? And by him being a battle rapper, he handpicked a lot of people that he felt like was, that could really hold their own as far as rapping, not just on some gang banging shit, you know what I mean? And that's how I
Mhm.
got on the album, and the rest was history after that.
Wow, that's pretty dope. Um, so I imagine that you're being a street dude. We all know your reputation and all that.
Right.
You probably had to come to a crossroads where you had to say, hey, look, I'm gonna either be this or I'm gonna be that. You know, you know what I mean? Or I'm gonna and tell me about the crossroads, kind of like that made you choose that life over being just being in the streets.
We are who we are once you're involved. You know what I mean? It's like there's no turning back.
Yeah,
I never denounced it. You know what I mean? Like I said, I'm a member. I don't gang bang, but I am a member. You know what I
yeah.
mean? And but me knowing and looking around me and seeing things going on around me and homies dying and going to jail, this, that, and the third, being famous and being a career criminal does not mix. You know what I'm saying? And I
Mm-hmm.
kind of took that from Al Capone and John Gotti, and it's like anything that had to do with the dark side and you want to play a part in the light side, at some point in time that light gonna end up shining on something that it don't need to be shined on,
Mm-hmm.
and your popularity can cost you. You know what I mean? And it's been situations where I got homies that's in jail, that rap and did different things, and they're locked up falsely accused, but convicted based on their popularity. You know
Mm-hmm.
what I mean? And then through the type of music that you do and the things that you portray, they will they will mix that in and say this is his real life. You know what I mean? So, you know, just me not being a follower and making my own decisions and knowing what I needed to do for my life versus, worried about what people thought about me. I made those decisions to do certain things and move a certain way. Well, it wouldn't cost me my life versus me trying to have a career, but still not contradict myself and me to make myself out to be a sucker either. You know what I mean? And, and by me really being who I am in the streets or whatever, I had a lot of support from my peers, my big homies, and stuff like that. People that really meant anything to me. Like as far as like a lot of niggas, I got a lot of slack from my own hood. Like, oh fuck Big Y, he don't come to the hood, but a lot of niggas wouldn't say shit to my face, so it didn't matter to me. And all the ones that do matter to me, my friends and the ones that I know love me and the ones that mean something to the set, you know what I'm saying? They always supported me and they always, like, wow, this is what you need to do. Because it was part of the time where, this music shit is up and down. You know what I mean? I found myself back in the alley selling weed again at one point in time, after records was put out. And one
Yeah.
of my big homies, you know what I'm saying, was like, man, what you doing, bro? Like, I'm like, man, I still ain't nothing changed. I still gotta get money, nigga. This popularity don't mean shit. He's like, man, do what you do, make it work. You know what I mean? And I
Mm-hmm.
always play that back in my head. You know what I mean? And I just always made my own decisions versus other people guiding me and trying to influence me. You know what I mean? Because being out here in these streets, a lot of dudes end up in these gangs and they get influenced, pressed, and pushed into doing stuff that they don't want to do or making decisions for themselves, and that's never been the factor or case with me.
Sure, sure. Now you did the Banging on Wax album. We all know about that, but people may not know that you were with Death Row at one point. You joined Death Row
Yeah,
Records.
yeah. Uh, During the first after the first Banging on Wax, myself and Stretch and I, we knew that the contract we in and the situation that we was in with that company during Banging on Wax, it had some bullshit going on with it. So us being us, we spoke up on our own and demanded that we get our own situation outside of just the blood and crip aspect, and that's what got us the deal to do the Young Soldiers album. And when we did the Young Soldiers album, we did a song, that was pushed and helped put together by my homie Lil Hawk. We did a song called East Side West Side that ended up being like a street ghetto classic, you know what I mean? And it made a lot of noise, you know what I mean? And shout out to my niggas OLTB, rest in peace, Flip Side, you know what I mean? Uh, they called up Stretch, and Stretch is like, man, OTB said Suge wanted to meet us. So we went up to the murder to shoot. They shoot murder was the case. And we went up to Suge to the video shoot when they was doing murder was the case. And we chopped it up with Suge right there for a minute. You know what I'm saying? He reached and went in the car. He gave us a bag of money, you know what I mean? And told us, shit, y'all want to be down, head up to the office and get y'all paperwork together and put y'all deal together, you know what I mean? And other than that, let's go. Welcome to Death Row. And we was like, shit. So we went back and told Ronnie, like, look, y'all can have this album, y'all can have all that shit we did. We taking this song and we out. And that was the rest. We was on Death Row after that. And we took that song
Wow.
and we
So,
remixed it on the Murder Was the Case soundtrack. And it ended up being one of the top
mhm.
5 songs critiqued by Los Angeles Times, along with Natural Born Killers by Dr. Dre and Ice Cube.
Wow. So, what was your experience like on Death Row Records? Is there anything you could tell us about that was a unique experience about being on that legendary label?
Shit, that shit was fun. You know what I mean? It's like, young, I think we young dudes in our 20s. Everybody rich. Suge gave us so much money. We felt like we was just as rich as everybody else. You know what I mean? Flying around, going different places. A lot of spontaneous trips. You know what I mean? Roy call us, hey, look, y'all going to Cabo. They shooting Danny Boy video. Y'all want to go? Hell yeah, we want to go. All right, meet us at the airport in 10 minutes. 10 minutes, man, just go. So you talking about just jumping in the car, getting dropped off, shop when you get places and stuff like that, you know what I mean? And just a learning experience, just being around it, you know what I mean? It was kind of like normal to us, you know what I mean? Because in the moment, you just living your life, right? And it's normal. So me
Yeah.
walking to the studio and peeking in, saying what's up to Daz, or what I'm saying, what's up to I already knew Corrupt. We grew up kind of together, like, what I'm saying, and Snoop in one room, like it was like, what's up, quick producing, you know, and it was just a dope experience, man, you know what I mean? And in the moment, it's like, it's regular, and then when Pop came home, you know what I mean? It's like, damn, it was kind of trippy then, because it's like you looking around the studio and you see all these different people waiting on this dude, and all type of media people and shit like that. You know what I mean? But I mean, it was a never dull moment, man. And then I wouldn't try. I would love to relive it. Shit, I would do some things different with my money for sure. But but I wouldn't. I have no regrets, man. It was a beautiful experience, and what I'm saying, I thank Suge for that, man. Free Suge.
That's dope. What made you form a group with your cousin? We all know that you guys formed the relatives. That's been your claim to fame. Um,
Yeah.
how did that come about?
Well, I mean, after throughout the we were signed to Death Row. I mean, we got paid and doing different things. and we started to grow up. Then Death Row kind of fell apart or whatever, and then all of us as a group, we start kind of growing apart. You know what I mean? Not growing apart as friends, but just growing apart. You know what I mean? Like everybody wanted to do their own thing, but me and Dog, me and Booger, we always, that's little bro. So we attached, and we together every day anyway. So one day, what I'm saying, we was, it was everything was pretty much Death Row was a wrap. We wasn't really getting no money. You know what I mean? We was just back out here. You know what I mean? And we was driving down Prairie one day, and Booker was like, "Man, we should be a group, just me and you." You know what I mean? Just like let's just do it, just us. I'm like, "Well, fuck it." You know what I mean? We need a name. And we started throwing shit back and forth, driving down Prairie, and I'll never forget. We was driving down Prairie and we passed Century. And right when we passed Century, he said, "Man, the relatives." And I was like, "Yeah." And that was it. It was relative. That was it.
Wow, that's pretty dope.
We started.
Because I remember I found out about you guys. I was in a store one day, and I was always browsing through the CDs, and I saw Snoop Dogg presents The Relatives, and I was like, "What the hell is this?" I mean, Snoop's name was on it, so I was immediately drawn to it. And then, I saw your name, your image, and everything, and I was just intrigued right from the start. But I
Yeah.
mean, seeing Snoop's name on there was really the eye catcher. When I was walking by and going through all the CDs and everything. So that was pretty dope of Snoop to present you guys like that.
No, I'm gonna keep it real with you. Snoop didn't do that. You know what I mean? Snoop, I'm gonna keep it all the way gangster with you.
Okay.
Snoop didn't do that. Reg, we was doing some stuff. You know what I mean? This was like that was I think when you that album right there was that wasn't even our first album. That was our second album.
Mm-hmm.
That was the takeover. And
Okay.
you know, Reg, we was doing some stuff with Reg, and Reg came up with that idea. You know what I mean? And he was actually trying to get him to do it. And you know what I mean? I don't know if whatever came about with the business, whatever, and Reg just ended up putting it on they put it on the marketing, on the paperwork. I mean on the artwork or whatever, you know what I mean? And it made it good for retail and for purchasing purposes. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And positioning. You know what I mean? And you know what I mean? But I could never, you know what I'm saying? Like, whenever I do interviews, I'm not gonna lie or do anything like that to be exposed later. You know what I mean? And the cool thing about it, by us being cool with Dog and Dog having love for a nigga for real, he never really made nothing of it. You know what I mean? Because we was really underground anyway. It was below the radar, so he wasn't even tripping. He could have shut that shit down.
Uh-huh.
You know what I'm saying? But I think even with a part of his name, you know what I mean? I'm not really sure, but I think a certain way you say his name, like Snoop Doggy Dog or something like that, is owned by like Death Row or something. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
And that's what kind of it's just a lot of politics with that shit. That didn't have nothing to do with me and Dog either way. However it went, I really can't tell you
Yeah.
how all the way it went, but we didn't green light it and we didn't have nothing to do with it. You know what I mean? Good looking out, Dog, for not rocking the boat. You know what I mean? And because it was a classic album. You know what I mean? But
Yeah.
yeah,
Well, hey, it worked. It got my attention, and I'm sure it got
no doubt,
other
no doubt.
people's attention as well. You know, um, and not
Now I
only
do
that,
take
but then
Reg
after that, I
off for
started
that.
seeing some.
I do
What's that?
salute Reg for his. I do salute Reg for his hustle and his. Yeah, you know what I mean. For his tactics. It is what it
Yeah,
is.
yeah. I did start seeing some press from you guys afterwards, um, and you guys were in Murder Dog magazine, and you guys were really on the come up, and
Right.
the thing that I was really impressed about is that, Bloods weren't really a thing in the industry. I mean, there were Bloods rapping, but it wasn't like today, like where it's like a trendy thing, like where I mean, almost every day there seems to be like a new Blood rapper, but you guys,
Oh yeah,
were
no
really
doubt.
setting trends, back then as real
I mean,
Bloods in the industry.
yeah, it was reality. It was like how it was in the streets. We was like, what's the word? Pariah. You know what I mean? Like we wasn't we was outnumbered 10-1. You know what I'm saying? So it was like,
Yeah,
it was hard. It was hard everywhere in the streets, music, everything. You know what I mean? So we made sure we came in full fledged and let it be known, like, look, this is who we are, this is what we doing, and this is what it is.
yeah, exactly. Yeah, and it's really weird because like today, like it seems like I find out like about a new Blood rapper every day, and and I'm not talking about from LA either. I'm talking about like from Louisiana or from New York or
Yeah,
from
I mean, because
wherever,
over
and
the
it just seems
years,
like it's a trend now, and it's you
yeah,
know
I mean, it's always been B dogs and stuff and keyways all around the country because it all bloomed and started from the drug trade and homies going back and forth to different states and stuff. So you got homies in hoods from different places all out of town. You know what I mean? And I think the third and fourth generations later, start to put it out there more when it came to music. You know what I mean? So now that's why you see it more, especially like in New
mhm,
York. You know what I mean? Like in our generation, it was shunned upon, like they didn't represent that. But later on, as time changed, different things came about, you know what I mean? And it started changing in the streets, and it was looked at differently in the streets in these different places. So it wasn't, it couldn't help but spill over into the industry.
yeah. All right. I'm gonna switch gears for a minute because I really want to really touch on this. We became partners back in 2004 when I was with West Coast Riders. We started working
Hmm.
together, tough and heavy, and you really became a part of my movement and our movement there. And
Right.
uh, you really started working behind the scenes and started helping other artists shine and started helping other artists get on. And I'm gonna just start dropping some names here, but I'm gonna go ahead and start with Top Dog Entertainment. And I'm gonna say this: I know
Hmm.
back there was one night where I was supposed to interview J Rock at the Nickerson Gardens, and I couldn't make it. I forget
Hmm.
for what reason came up. I think it was like work related. But you went in my place out there and you interviewed J Rock, and that's J Rock's first official interview ever done by any media
For real?
personality. What's that?
Is that right?
Yeah, you interviewed J
I
Rock on
didn't know
tape.
that.
Yeah, you interviewed
Yeah, I
because you
remember that, but I didn't know
substituted
that
for
was his
me.
first interview.
Yeah, that was his first
Yeah.
interview.
Look
You
at
brought
you.
Wow.
J Rock to the table
Look at
for
you.
you know. Um,
You know how I
Top
am,
Dog wasn't
Styles. I
getting no
don't think
press.
that. Yeah, I mean, but them was my
Yeah,
friends. You know what I mean?
yeah.
So
But J
it's
Rock
like,
was he was that was like his first introduction on the net anywhere. You know,
right,
and that was Lift Me Up had not come out yet. None of that. This was like the summer that summer. And
right
we
before
put
the
his
yeah,
first interviews
yep,
up. But that was his first interview, and that was done by you.
yep,
But you
yeah, yep,
brought them to the
yep,
table, and we started working
yep.
with Top Dog because you brought them over to us, and then of course we started working eventually with K Dot, and then
Yeah,
we did his first.
Doc was real young then.
Yeah, yeah,
Yeah,
this, that was
Doc was cracking.
2006.
Yep, wow, been a long time, Styles.
Yeah,
It's been a
but
Yeah,
long.
I mean, but you brought them over to our camp. You know what I mean?
yeah,
And and I always credit you with that. You brought over Top Dog, and and J Rock and Kendrick. You know, so man, you know, what I mean, that's one. There's good
Right.
another name I want to drop, Joe Moses. You brought Joe
Right.
Moses over to me when nobody knew who the hell he was. He was
Yeah.
not a name yet, and you put out actually his first project that I can recall of. You know, um,
Yeah. His first mixtape.
yeah, his first mixtape, and I remember putting
Yeah.
that out too. And that's another name you brought over to me, Joe Moses. Um,
Yeah.
YG. I got Tooted and
Okay.
Booted from you. And I remember you
Yeah.
were pushing Tooted and Booted hard. And I remember I didn't even
Yeah.
like the song. You know what I'm saying? I heard it and I was like, what is this shit, man?
There was
Yo,
I told you it was gonna blow, Styles.
it's a
but it did. I put it out though because you know what? Because you know because it came from you, and if you tell me to
Right.
fuck with it, I'm gonna do it. You know what I'm saying? You
Right.
know, so
Right.
I put it out. Um, but that was another thing, and nobody was messing with YG at the time. I didn't even know
Nah, he
who
was
he
still young.
was. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, he was still young. He
Yeah,
was still,
but I mean, but that whole movement that was YG, that and Ty Dollar Sign got he was also a part of that. DJ Mustard,
yeah.
all these
They
guys.
actually
Yeah, what's that? Go ahead.
they was just getting to know each other then.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Mhm.
And the whole YG thing came about
shout out to Big.
from my boy Big B. You know what I mean? Rest in peace, Big B. You know what I mean? And
Yeah, I
he
remember him.
was
Rest
gonna
in
put me
peace.
up on it, and he used to tell me about, he the one that got me to put my ear to the streets from them young dudes. It was the Pusher Inc. and and all of those, the Pink Dollars and the rejects and that whole era, that jerking era, you know what I mean? Like to pay attention in them kids because they movement was crazy. They even had when they parties used to be sold out. They had their own little club, the Element, it was sold out every week. You know what I mean? So I really, looking at me starting a company with my partner, you know what I mean? I had to start paying attention because for any company's success, it's not just about right then, it's about the future. So I had to make sure I paid attention.
Mhm.
You
Okay,
know.
so so that camp I think owes you as well. So not only we've got Top Dollar, we got Joe Moses, YG, Ty Dollar Sign, DJ Mustard. Um, you also brought over Sugar Gotti, Pippin Silky.
Oh
I remember
yeah,
you brought
yeah.
him.
I wouldn't say that. I wouldn't. I don't feel like they owe me. You know what I mean? Because all of those that you named, just like then and still to this day, are like family. You know what I mean? Like they could call me for anything, and I could call them, and it's gonna get done right away.
Yeah,
Like it's not even about industry with us. You know what I mean? Like I talked to Mustard earlier today, and it's like it didn't even have nothing to do with music. You know what I mean? And Joe, that's little bro. You know what I mean? So it's like all of these dudes. We went to see J Rock for Kerrington birthday.
Shout out
You
to
know
J
what I mean?
Rock because
You know.
that's my homie.
uh,
That's my
so
homie.
it's like all these dudes, and Top. It's busy. Top. Everybody be joking. Get Top on the phone. I could call dude right now. What you doing, Top? You watching TV? Like, you know what I mean? He gonna answer the phone. You know what I mean? So it's like
yeah,
it's normal. These are this family. You know what I'm saying? It's like me calling Carrington, any of those dudes you named. You know what I mean? So
yeah.
it's all love.
Well, I feel that's a modest response, and that's you being modest. But I feel
Right.
cats owe you. I feel
Okay.
what I mean.
For real.
I know what you're doing,
Yeah. Yeah.
and I feel I do feel cats owe you.
Yeah.
Right.
And then you brought, and then of course we all know about, the Cali Swag District. You know what I mean? That was that movement right there. You had Michelle Obama doing the dance, and I even heard the song this morning on the news. When there was some little kid
Later.
was skateboarding, some 15-month-year-old kid was skateboarding, and they were playing "Teach Me How to Dougie," to that. You know what I'm saying? So even to this day, you know what I'm saying? That's your legacy. You know.
Yeah, I mean it is, and that's that's the biggest thing that I've been blessed to be a part of in entertainment. Period. And it still finds a way to resonate. Like right now, it's one of the biggest things on TikTok right now. You know what I mean? With the
Mm-hmm.
new little dance that they got going, where the Dougie music is playing to it and the whole nine. You know what I mean? I'm just blessed to be able to really to be a part of it, and when you're creative and you're a creator of anything, you know what I mean. The money is fine because that's how you make your living, but being passionate about seeing something that you have an idea and it come to life and the world enjoys it, that's the best thing you could ever. That's the best feeling in the world, man.
Mm-hmm.
You know.
Now I'm gonna shut up for a minute, and I'm gonna go ahead and let your daughter have the floor here. So Kerrington, your father and daughter interview thing going on. Let's do it.
Hey,
What you got to say?
what's up, Big Y? How you doing?
My name is Dad. Don't call me that.
Oh, she calls you Big Y and not Dad.
You know,
Wow,
she
that's
don't call
crazy.
me Big Y. She just called me Big Y on here. What is that shit?
What's up
No,
with you?
I'm fine. I'm fine, Carrington. How are you doing?
What's up with you, Wiz? Been a long time no talk.
Oh yeah, I know it's been a while now, like an hour. How you
A few
doing?
hours. No, but this is like legendary because besides you being my dad, like Styles said, no, for real, like you is the reason a lot of people is doing what they doing because you had the respect for them before anybody even knew who they was. And I feel like respect is the biggest thing because when you respect somebody before they have a name, it's like they'll always remember you. It don't matter if you just played they song in your car. It's like you did that for them. So it's like you probably not gonna do it, but I'm gonna make sure you get your flowers. You feel me? I'm gonna make
I
sure you.
mean, I appreciate it, and it's like I'm always respect artists because before I was blessed to be able to do business behind the scenes, I'm an artist first. So if you're doing something dope and I feel that you got potential and what you're doing is dope, I'm not no hater. I'm not like selfish to where I'm not gonna spread the word and talk about you.
Real
You
life.
know what I mean? If you're around me and you're doing something dope, and anybody asks me like, "What you know? That's what's the latest big wide around you? That's dope." Well, you need to check this out. This is dope. You know what I mean? And I genuinely feel that way. You know what I mean? So it's like I wish that people, would if everybody did that for all artists that they came across, a lot of people would be more successful, and it'd be a lot more jobs and a lot more going on. It's just, people are different, so I just try to um, spread my love with my passion.
Yes, that's for sure. That's for sure. So, one of the
Mhm.
biggest things in entertainment, well, in life, period, is being able to be authentic to who you are. So, I know sometimes it's hard for people to bring out their authenticity because they feel like they have to ride a wave in order to become the next big thing. So, what
Yeah.
advice would you give to people about being authentic? Because y'all know me and you, we talk about this all the time about being authentic, but for some people, that's actually a challenge to wake up every day. It seems crazy to say, but to wake up every day and be yourself. So, what type of advice would you give to anybody, entertainment wise or just life, period?
Find a way to implement things into your own authenticity to get people to respect it and enjoy it. You know what I mean? It's kind of like in order for you to be a success in this game, you got to give them what they want, right? But at the same time, you can still be original to yourself to get people to like it. It's kind of like if a little kid doesn't like vegetables, and if you put a little sugar in them, they'll eat them. You know what I mean? But it's still your vegetables that you give them. So it's like you just got to find your niche and find your way and different ways to get the world out there to see, what I mean, what you're bringing to the table that's different from everybody else because it's only gonna be number one. You know what I mean? It's like when T-Pain blew up the auto tune, it's like nobody ever do it the way T-Pain did it. It's gonna always be something different. Even though, like, even when I can say that I can use old school analogy with Roger Troutman. Everybody try to do the talk box like he did, but no one never sounds like Roger Troutman and more bounce. So it's like you just gotta be who you are and stay down with it, no matter what, no matter what. Because at some point in time, it's gonna be some out there. You might get one person that say it's dope, then another. Now you created your own fan base to like what you like. You know what I mean? Look at, like, let's take somebody like Tyler the Creator, made millions of dollars, sold out millions of shows, but you never hear a song by Tyler on the radio ever. You understand what I'm saying?
Real
Yeah.
life.
Like the new kids that was just big not too long ago. The what's that, Shoreline Mafia? They
Yeah.
showed out the what's that, the Shrine or what, one of them theaters 3 nights back to back. You know what I mean? Like, you know, let's take Kendrick before he was on the radio. He sold out arenas and places before he had one song on the radio. You know what I mean? So it's like you can be authentic, and instead of going to look for the fans, you can drag the world to you. So just, stay down and keep going. And believe in yourself. Your confidence will show.
For sure. For sure. Most definitely. Most definitely. So going back to Teach Me How to Dougie's Cali Swag District, like, we're gonna have fun. Like, what is a memory that you can recall, like, off the top of your head, like something super funny, like super fun, super dope, just being in the studio with them? Because every time Young comes to the studio, it's funny. So I know back then when I wasn't around all the time, because I was 7. That's crazy. I was 7. What's just something like a super fun memory?
When we first heard it on the radio, and it's like, we knew that they was gonna play it on the radio. And so I went and got like an old stereo that had a radio built into it. Because, at that time, technology, nobody had no regular radio in the studio. So I went and got we had a record player on the top with a radio, and it came on. And when it came on, you know, M-Bone kicked the door open. They was in the middle of the floor and dancing all out in the street, just pumped up, and just seeing the joy on their face. That was like a real fun memory.
Yeah, I know for me, like, the craziest memory for me was when I went to school like 2 weeks later, and like I was late, and a whole bunch of just 14-year-olds, 13-year-olds just swarmed a 7th grader, just screaming at me. And I'm just like, back then I was scared, but now thinking about it, it's like, hold on, I'm celebrity too. You feel me?
Right,
But
right.
but yeah, that
Yeah.
was like, that's so legendary, because like you hear somebody talking about it every day, and it's still surreal for me because, you know, everybody knows Big Y, but it's all like, to be in the presence of you every day, it's really like a movie. Like every day, well, not now since quarantine, it's pretty boring. But before that, it's like being in the presence of like all these different artists and stuff like that. It's like you really have had such a big influence on everybody. And I wouldn't even say, I would personally say that most of your, I want to know if you feel this way as well, but being with you and being around, I just feel like I don't even think most of your influence comes from music. I really feel like the influence comes from you as a person and the authenticity that you give off, like your vibes. Like, do you feel that same way too? Because I really feel like people, like, you know, attach themselves to you because of the vibes you give off, not even because of your music background. So what way do you feel about that?
I mean, it could be that because it's like every day is a learning experience. You know what I mean? And everything that people take from me or they think they learning from me, it might not just be something that I know. It might be something that I'm implementing to my life at that time. You know what I mean? Because I'm trying to change every day. Like, I'm not perfect and I got a lot of flaws, you know what I mean? And knowing what I've been through, what I'm going through and where I am now, and I try to give off the best possible information and share what I'm going through and that information at the same time with somebody else that's younger than me. So that way, when they get my age, they'll remember, what I mean? And they'll look at situations different, you know what I mean? And I just try to be for people, not, as well as, you and Yana and, just my family in general and everybody, you know, I want people to get something and get something that I never got, no matter what it is. You know what I mean? Because I missed out on a lot. I missed out on a lot growing up in life, a lot of information that I wish I had, a lot of people that I wish I had around me, and just a lot of things that I wish I would have learned. So as fast as I can get it, I try to give it out to everybody. That's why I'm so vocal on my social media, uh, just with people, everybody that I meet. You know what I mean? That way, I feel like that'll be a true mark that I'm leaving. Here in this world.
Mhm. For sure. So we know that. Well, I don't know if you know, Styles, but you have a new album coming out, The Evolution of Banging on Wax. It's been how many
Yes.
years since the first one? I don't even know.
Going on now, 26.
26
26
years since the first one, and this one is completely different. Like the whole vibe is just changed. So, what can we expect with that album coming out? Like, what type of music
Uh,
can we expect?
well, I mean, when you hear Banging on Wax, and if you're a fan of the first one, you think rivalry, a lot of disrespectful songs, but that's not the case with this one. It is what it is. When you hear evolution, the evolution is something that has changed. It's something that has evolved from you know what I mean? When you look at what is it, a caterpillar, or what is the larva before it turns into a butterfly? It's like it evolves into something else, and that's what the music on this album represents. You know what I mean? It's still coming from the streets and the elements of the blood and crip side of the lifestyle of around the nation, but it still is going to showcase uh these are real artists. This is real music. This is real art. These are real stories. You know what I mean? And different topics that a lot of people go through, because no matter what your affiliation is, people go through the same things and they live through the same things. And a lot of people live vicariously through music. You know what I mean? So,
Yeah.
it's going to be, it's going to be something special. And, it's going to be a vibe for real.
Yeah,
And
I think I've heard the whole album. I mean, it's certain songs like, being in the studio, but it's for sure a vibe. And I'm excited. So can you give us a sneak peek of a few artists that's gonna be on there, or that's confidential?
no, no, of course. The first, I tell you, the first single is Blood's Chris Rules, was produced by me and me and Talent Boy. And it's OT Genesis, Blueface, Mozzie, and the Game. And that's getting ready to drop soon.
Yes, I'm
Yeah,
ready for that. That video was crazy.
yeah,
It was crazy. But no,
yeah.
yeah, like you've had a great career. Like, you know, you had a great career before, but when me and Yana came, it just made it way better. Like,
You know what? I'm tired of y'all two taking my shine.
it just made it way better. When
Too
me and
much.
Yana just came, your career went from great to just astonishing. I know. Just people don't. I know, but no, for real.
Next question.
Hmm.
Next question, Styles. She's out of here.
Next question. Hey, I'm just gonna say my favorite big
And
white
I
woman, since
love
we're
you and
talking
Yana.
about
And
your
you're
respect.
right. You guys have made everything better for me, and I love you too. I love you too. I love you too.
Because every day is
Next
special with
question,
us.
Styles. She's out of here.
It's never a dull moment.
You're right, it ain't.
when you're talking about your respect and authenticity and all that, my favorite moment with you was I was with you one time on Crenshaw and Manchester. We were outside of that barber shop, I believe, that was out there at that time, just out on the
Yeah.
street, just hanging out, and someone had just was driving by, and they pulled over, and they got out of their car, and he says, "Man, I saw you, Big Y, just hanging out here, and I pulled over, and I just came to pay my respect." And I'd never seen anything like that before. People driving by on that street or whatever, going about their business, and this guy just sees you, pulls over, and just to pay his respect to you. And I thought that was pretty awesome. And that
I
I
mean,
mean that that's just,
I a lot of people, they try to make it more. How can I say? More gangster, infamous to make me more. I put out love, man. You know what I'm saying? I show love to everybody. You know what I mean? And I think, when stuff like that happens, it's just the universe trying to give me some of the love back that I give out.
yeah, that's dope, man. So your daughter leaked the news about the album. What about you though? I mean, are you recording for yourself anymore, or have you stopped? No relatives, no,
Uh,
or no Big Y album.
uh, I mean, me and Booger, we did a relative album. It's sitting there. It's just sitting there. And we talked the other day. We got maybe like two more songs that we gonna complete. You know what I mean? And I guess we'll get to it sooner than later.
Hmm.
And I'm focusing on getting this, this project that I got going out, and doing some other stuff with my partner Wacko, and then
Hmm.
Booger. He kind of Booger's running his restaurant. He full fledged in the restaurant business. You know what I mean? So when time permits itself, yeah, we'll do it. We'll finally get this album out. You know what I mean? I'm really not. I'm really not in a hurry to
Yeah.
jump in and full fledged put a project out for Big Y, especially the way music is right now.
Hmm.
You know what I mean? You got to realize, even in the concert industry, this year alone lost $30 billion. You know what I mean? And it's
Yeah.
like found a way. They found a way to take the power from us by uh, us depending on this bullshit amount that they give us for streaming records and shit like that. You know what I mean? Like, it's
Hmm.
not like the old day styles when we had mom and pop record stores, and you could call Violet Brown and tell her to put 100 copies on consignment for you, or Sam Goody and all these different places. You know what I mean? Or you could sell 10,000 copies out your trunk and make physical money. You know what I mean? It's a lot of things that change. So it's like, when I get the urge, don't get me wrong, I'm an artist. I go and record. Like, I got a whole album done. I got a couple of albums done by me, by myself, Big Y. You know what I mean? I've never released a solo album, and I wanted to,
Hmm.
and I was getting ready to. Every time I get ready to, something happens. You know what I mean? So, when it's time and it's meant for it to happen, it'll happen. I do a lot of features
Okay.
though.
What about
Long,
319 Music Group?
we're still
What about
here.
319? Are you putting out any new artists these days or what?
No.
No, we're not. Nah, we're not doing anything as far as like working with artists right now, putting any artists out right now. We will, but our main focus is going to be on the film side in conjunction with Respect. Like, my boy Wacko, he got some series and stuff and opportunity TV series that he's working on and different things that
Hmm.
he's putting out. And I'm gonna be assisting
Okay.
him and doing the music side of it, and then I got a film that I'm almost finished working on, and
And
we're just
that's
gonna
gonna be
we're
crazy.
gonna go into the more of the film. Starting 21, we're going into the more film aspect of 319 music and
Got it.
films.
Awesome. Well, is there anything, Kerrington, that you wanted to ask him? Anything else, or are we good here tonight?
What we doing tomorrow?
Oh, that gets personal.
No, but that's it. No, just thank you for coming. Thank you for letting me interview as an upcoming journalist and not Pie, your child. So I appreciate that for sure.
I appreciate you for having me.
Awesome. Well, you know, why? Thank you for being our guest tonight. You know, like I said, I really wanted to just take a moment to celebrate your career. You know what I mean? And you know, and to just, hey, give you your flowers. You know what I'm saying? And celebrate you and everything that you've done, and just show my appreciation for you here at West Coast Styles. You know, because you know you're still you know, you're a part of this movement, just like you were at West Coast Riders. So you know.
And I humbly accept all the flowers and love, and I appreciate both you guys.
All right, brother. I'm gonna go ahead and let you get back to your business. Can I get a quick shout out to the site?
Yo, what's up? This your boy Big Y. You rocking right now with West Coast Styles. Y'all know what it is. Whoop.
Yes, sir.
Whoop. All right, thank you everybody for tuning in. Have a wonderful night. Peace.
Bye.
What time is it? Okay, we have some fabulous live music later on, but right now, here's the kind I prefer.